who doesn't want an RTX 4090? With it, you can play games at 4K, turn up all the settings, and even enjoy ray tracing to its fullest potential. This right here is the all-new Blade 16 and is exactly what you want. A 4K 120Hz mini-LED display, amazing build quality, and even plenty of ports. But most importantly, it can be equipped with up to an Intel Core i9-13950HX with the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4090 laptop GPU. Sounds amazing, right? Unfortunately, there's something weird with the RTX 4090 laptop GPU in the Blade 16, and we think the reason might not even be the GPU itself. Now, for this review, we aren't going to talk about all the great things about the new Blade 16. Honestly, there is a lot to cover here and we very much love it. For example, that 4K mini-LED display is really awesome. You can actually switch between native 4K 120Hz or 1080p 240Hz. It's kind of like pixel binning in a way, and it's pretty amazing. You can have both your cakes and eat both of them. Other than that, you still get a great keyboard, which I personally really love quite a lot. Not too sure about most of you out there, but I do like it, as well as you get a gigantic touchpad. In fact, it's bigger than the MacBook Pro 16, which is quite insane. You're also well covered on ports and all that as well, so on and so forth. So no worries with regards to the design itself. It's really nice. Basically, it's a bigger Blade 15, and if you like the Blade 15, you'll probably like the Blade 16. But anyways, let's put that all aside, because if you want to know more about the Blade 16 itself, there are already many other reviews out there that have already covered it. So for us here today, we're going to talk about performance and the reason as to why we think that this might be the weirdest implementation of the RTX 4090 laptop GPU we've ever tried. So let's just jump straight into the gaming performance. As usual, we tested all 10 games with our new benchmarking process, and as you can tell, it is indeed a high-performance gaming laptop, especially with games that support DLSS 3 frame generation. The experience is really fantastic, but it all starts to get weird when you actually compare the performance to other gaming laptops. In this instance, we had the opportunity to try the Legion Pro 7i from Lenovo, and that sports an Intel Core i9-13900H with the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4080 laptop GPU. So essentially, these two laptops feature really similar specs with the exception of the GPU. One has the RTX 4090 laptop GPU, while the other has the RTX 4080 laptop GPU. But yet, when you compare the gaming performance of the two, the RTX 4080 laptop GPU in the Legion Pro 7i will match that of the RTX 4090 laptop GPU in the Razer Blade 16, or even beat it at times. They pretty much trade blows. For example, here's a comparison with Apex Legends. At 1080p, while the average frame rate might be really similar, the 1% low on the RTX 4080 laptop GPU is actually much higher. When we move up to 1440p, the RTX 4080 laptop GPU yet again pulls ahead with almost a 10% difference, and that's for both the average FPS and the 1% low. As we move up to 4K, while the difference does shrink, the RTX 4080 laptop GPU still pretty much performs on par with the RTX 4090 laptop GPU. Here's another example with Cyberpunk 2077, a much more demanding game as compared to Apex Legends. At 1080p, both the average frame rate and the 1% low are about 10% better on the Legion Pro 7i with the RTX 4080 laptop GPU as compared to the Razer Blade 16 with the RTX 4090 laptop GPU. Move the resolution up to 1440p and the performance advantage still stays the same. Now, at 4K, sure, the frame rate is equally not great on either of the two laptops, but if you actually take a look at the percentage difference, it is still largely the same. 4 frames per second equates to about 10%, and it is still the RTX 4080 laptop GPU in the Legion Pro 7i that performs better here. Now, if you're interested to do a full one-to-one comparison between the two laptops, simply go ahead and check out our review of the Legion Pro 7i and you can compare the numbers. But for those of you who don't want to do that, well, if you're too lazy to do that, here's a quick summary for the comparison. In general, across all the 10 games that we test here on this channel, the Legion Pro 7i with the RTX 4080 laptop GPU performs just ever so slightly better than the Razer Blade 16 with the RTX 4090 laptop GPU at both 1080p and 1440p. It is only at 4K where both GPUs are neck and neck for almost any title, and it's only at 4K with ray tracing and DLSS 2.0 or 3.0 enabled where the RTX 4090 laptop GPU in the Blade 16 has the definite advantage. So now you might be thinking that, well, Razer probably restricted the TGP for the RTX 4090 laptop GPU in the Blade 16, or perhaps it's because they don't have a mux switch. But that's not true. Both the RTX 4080 laptop GPU in the Legion Pro 7i and the RTX 4090 laptop GPU in the Blade 16 have access to the full 150 watts with the additional 25 watt boost for a total of 175 watt TGP. In addition, the Legion Pro 7i has a mux switch enabled via Lenovo Vantage, while the Blade 16, this has Advanced Optimus and a mux switch which can be toggled via NVIDIA control panel or the BIOS respectively. For all our testing, we definitely tested using the mux switch. But here's the weirder thing. We actually couldn't find out any particular single factor that would have contributed to the lower performance on the Blade 16 when it comes to the GPU. Now, to be clear, both laptops had their respective GPUs at 100% usage, and they even exhibited really similar power draw patterns, and temperatures are both definitely well under control. Now, you might say that the RTX 4080 laptop GPU was able to clock much higher, nearing 2500 MHz or 2400 MHz, compared to roughly 2100 MHz on the RTX 4090 laptop GPU, but that's all within the parameters given how the GPUs are usually tiered, and according to NVIDIA's spec as well. The 4080 has less CUDA cores and thus a higher clock speed, while the 4090 has more CUDA cores and thus a slightly lower clock speed. Again, that's how GPUs are tiered, so a 4090 laptop GPU should perform better than a 4080 laptop GPU, just like how a 3080 Ti should perform better than a 3080 in the laptop, as long as they have access to the same TGP and with temperatures well under control, which is exactly the case here for both of these two laptops. So what exactly might be the actual difference here? After much testing, we believe it has everything to do with the CPU. Although the Blade 16 features the slightly higher-end Core i9-13950HX, it runs at about 3.6 GHz during most gaming scenarios, in comparison to the Core i9-13900H in the Legion Pro 7i that runs at about 4 to 4.2 GHz in most gaming scenarios. In addition, the Legion Pro 7i pushes about 0.1 volts more to the CPU as well. And so, if you look at the games which require more CPU performance, such as CSGO and Black Desert, you'll notice that the Legion Pro 7i performs much better as compared to the Blade 16. Whereas in games where the GPU usage is much more intensive, where it's basically the bottleneck, the performance between the two laptops are neck and neck. You can technically overclock the CPU via Razer Synapse with the Blade 16, but it does require you to disable Windows Core Isolation and Hyper-V. While the latter isn't really important, the former definitely is, so we highly recommend not to do so. So as per our internal testing, we feel that because Razer has taken steps to perhaps control the CPU performance and temperatures so as not to overload the thermal system, that might have contributed to potential loss of performance with regards to the RTX 4090 laptop GPU. On the other hand, we only have Nvidia to blame. The RTX 4090 laptop GPU isn't really that much of a leap over the RTX 4080 laptop GPU. In fact, the entire RTX 40 series laptop GPU range is really a sly naming scheme by Nvidia. The RTX 4090 laptop GPU is more akin to the RTX 4080 desktop GPU, while the RTX 4080 laptop GPU is more akin to the RTX 4070 Ti desktop GPU, so on and so forth. So all we can say is this. This particular Blade 16 will set you back about $4,300 US or above 7,000 Singapore dollars. And that is a hell of an investment. If you really want the Blade 16, we would suggest getting the RTX 4080 laptop GPU model instead. Granted, we have yet to test that SKU, but as far as we can tell, the 4090 model really doesn't offer more for what you're supposedly paying more for. Now you do lose out on the mini LED display, but IPS is still great. The RTX 4080 laptop GPU SKU will set you back roughly $3,600 US or about 6,000 Sing dollars. Certainly, it's still hell of a lot, but that also puts it more in line with the pricing of the Legion Pro 7i with the RTX 4080 laptop GPU, which makes deciding between the two a little far more reasonable. But if you have the space to spare, especially in your backpack, perhaps you can opt for the Blade 18 instead. Other reviewers have already reviewed the Blade 18 with the RTX 4080 laptop GPU, and that also performs equally or better than the Blade 16 with the RTX 4090 laptop GPU. Or if you have that much money, you can go for the Blade 18 with the RTX 4090 laptop GPU as well. Anyways, that's our honest opinion. Avoid the Blade 16 with the RTX 4090 laptop GPU because for this particular model, you're paying more for basically not much more. Instead, grab the Blade 16 or the Blade 18 with the RTX 4080 laptop GPU if you really love Razer. For us, we'll still admit that the Blade is the best looking gaming laptop out there, and for some, that is enough of a reason to make the purchase. It's really beautiful. I personally still really like it. In any case, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment down below and I'll be sure to take a look at it and answer them. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to us for more of such content and so that we can do more fun content. Also, don't forget to follow us on all our social channels. We'll see you in the next one. See ya!